Welcome to this week's AMT Fresh Produce Overview, your go-to source for the latest price movements, market trends, and forward-looking insights. If you're producing, buying, or selling fresh produce, you're in the right place. This episode is made possible by Nedbank, helping you grow every step of the way. So, let's dive in. Price movers for the week. The biggest gainer was potatoes with a 25% increase due to low volumes. The biggest loser over the past week was green beans with a 12% dip in the price. Volumes were up while demand slipped a bit. On the watch list for this week is potatoes. We saw a sharp rise last week, but prices can correct fast this week again. The national average potato price jumped by 25% to 75.02 rand per 10 kg, with large potatoes now 94 rand, mediums at 71 and smalls 42 rand. Mondial and Sifra varieties rose to 77 and 74 rand respectively, while Class 1 potatoes averaged on 81 rand 41. The average potato price is now about 18% higher than last year this time, with 15% lower volumes reported. The jump in prices were due to farmers not being able to lift due to the rain and volumes dropping sharply. However, this week this can change drastically, with a lot more volumes already on the markets over the start of this week. Easter won't necessarily help with higher demand, as we are now in the middle of the month as well. We expect prices to drop therefore this week as a result of this low demand and higher expected volumes. The average onion price increased sharply to 73.77 rand per 10 kg last week, but is still 23% lower compared to last year this time. We are now seeing 9% more volumes on the market than last year this time. The average brown onion price increased to 74 rand, red onions increased to 82, while the average white onion price increased to 81 rand per 10 kg. Large onions traded higher on 75, mediums increased to 78, and smalls also increased to 66 rand per 10 kg. We're still expecting volumes to stay under pressure at least until the end of August, and prices that can remain in this upward trend at least until then. As expected, tomato prices decreased last week due to higher volumes and lower demand, with the latest national average price trading 8% lower on 14.89 per kilogram. This price is now 25% lower than last year this time, with volumes about 30% higher year on year. Large tomatoes traded at 18.65 rand, mediums on 15.59 rand, and smalls on 13.27 rand. Although more volumes are coming out of the northern production areas at the moment, the expectation is that demand can pick up slightly this week, which might stabilize prices for this week. Carrot prices jumped to 9.72 rand per kilogram and is now 17% higher than a year ago. Large carrots traded on 10.69 rand, mediums on 7.86 rand, and smalls higher on 7.82 rand. It looks like volumes are staying low on the markets, and that prices can therefore stay on a relatively higher level this week as well, especially with Easter also supporting demand. We are, however, expecting more volumes to start entering into the markets very soon, which could, coupled with lower demand after the Easter weekend, start to drive prices downward, something to keep an eye on. The average pepper price decreased by 1% to 17.16 rand per kilogram. Green peppers traded lower on 13.44 rand, but we saw yellow peppers and red pepper prices jumping by more than 30% over the past week to 35.94 rand and 19.92 rand per kilogram respectively. The average price is still 31% higher than a year ago, but we are still expecting the price to stay on a lower level during May and June due to more volumes expected. Cabbage prices increased by 13% to 3.64 rand per kilogram. Garlic prices increased slightly by about 2% to 51.85 rand per kilogram, with locally produced garlic now on 41.45 rand. Imported garlic traded on 84.91 rand per kilogram. Spinach prices increased by 16% to R8.75 per kilogram and is now 133% higher than a year ago. Sweet potato prices decreased by 3% to R5.54. Pumpkin prices increased by 7% to R3.82. Butternuts decreased to R4.56. Green beans dropped by 12% to R14.26, while cucumber prices increased to R12.70 per kilogram. For a deeper dive into these and other market insights, be sure to download our latest reports available for free at amtrends.co.za now. Shifting our focus to the fruit markets, the average banana price traded 6% higher on R10.49 per kilogram or R189 per 18 kilogram box and is now 12% lower than a year ago. Apple prices dropped to R9.99 per kilogram and is now 14% higher than last year this time. I think apple prices can start to stabilize very soon as well. The latest pear price traded on R8.11 per kilogram and can also remain on current levels for now. Orange prices decreased by another 1% to R5.11 per kilogram and is now 1% lower compared to a year ago. We are expecting prices to stabilize soon and then possibly dip further in May. The avocado price increased by about 14% and traded on R12.06 per kilogram last week and is now 20% lower than a year ago. Variety-wise, Fiates increased to R15, Haas traded on R9, while Pinkertons remained on R11 per kilogram. I think the avocado price can stay on this lower level for the next month or so. The average grape price traded on R28.93 per kilogram last week. Pineapples increased by 8% to R11.33. Lemons stayed on R5.88, while blueberries traded higher on R335 per kilogram last week. So our tips for the week is for the potato producers. With prices coming off a peak, timing or delaying your delivery for mid to late week could help avoid this price dip. For our carrot growers, we are still seeing strong pricing on the markets, but prepare for a possible correction post-Easter, especially if volumes rise. For all our growers, focus on sorting and packaging. Higher quality produce stands out in oversupplied markets and can still fetch better prices, especially if you look into the tomato and carrot markets after the Easter weekend and when those prices come under pressure. This episode was proudly brought to you by Standard Bank. For more detailed insights, forecasts and free downloadable tools, visit amtrends.co.za. I'm Dr. Johnny van der Merwe and thanks for tuning in. See you next week.